name's Darlene, and I have Parkinson's. Okay, this is going to be a disjointed video, which nothing's new with that when it's coming to me. I had made my video, and I don't know how to edit properly, so therefore I'd made my video, but now I know the rest of the story. So when I say goodbye to you, I'll say hello again in a minute when I start the actual video. When I get to the end and I say goodbye, it's not the end. I'm going to then come back and I'm going to tell you the rest of the story, and that's where it gets funny. So we will stay tuned and catch you at the end. Good morning, everybody. My name is Darlene, and I have Parkinson's. And I am a hot mess this morning. I have a list a mile long of things I want to do. I have no motivation to do it, but I want them done. So I know I'm going to have to do some of them, but some of them I'm just going to carry over to the next list. I get great joy, the simplest of things. I get the greatest joy from just crossing things off a to-do list. But today, there won't be very many to-dos become to-dones, because I'm not to-doning much. I also looked at what my list consisted of, and I realized 3/4 of my list says, rewrite such and such. Rewrite such and such, because I can't read my own writing. I had recipes written down and I was going, Bill, what do you think this means? What do you think I'm saying here? I've even gone to the point where I've taken a picture of the stuff that I can't read, and things that I needed to buy on a grocery list or a shopping list, and I've emailed that picture to Claudine, and I said, blow it up big on your computer and see if you can figure out what I'm trying to say. She goes, Mom, it doesn't even look like English. It's like, I know. My chicken scratch, it never was like that. Oh, I had good penmanship, but my mother had good penmanship, but I had pretty good penmanship too, but that's not the case. So anyway, so a lot of my things are to be rewritten and stuff. So when my meds are not working, I have a hard time writing. When my meds are working, it's not very neat because I'm like, jumping all over the place. I call it my aerobics class, because I said I would love to have some kind of a machine on me that would measure how many calories I burn jumping around just from my body movement. I would love to know that. My neck is constantly sore, and I swear it's because I throw my head around at odd things. Poor Bill, I'm sitting under the kitchen table. My feet go out and kick him, and I don't mean to do it. There's nothing I can do. We like to play Yahtzee, and we had to get one of those pincher things because the dice are always on the ground, because I go to roll them onto the table and they fly everywhere. And he says, don't throw them so hard. And I said, I'm not throwing them hard. I said, I went to let them go and they just flew. So it's great. And every time that he goes to put cream on my neck, he says, just hold still. I said to him, do you live with somebody who has a movement disorder? Because you don't seem to understand. I can't just hold still. Oh my goodness. Anyway, so I don't see. Oh, the other thing is, I was going to say, well, I'm going to just make a dessert for tomorrow, so maybe I'll just take you along while I make it. Well, I realized I didn't have enough milk, so I thought, well, I'll go get my skim milk powder out of the cupboard. I got my skim milk powder down. I didn't even open the container. I saw it's like an opaque, you can see through it. I could see little bugs in there. I don't know how those got in there. I have scoured the rest of my dry goods in there. They are not in anywhere else. It was a sealed container. I do not know unless they came with bugs in it, but that disgusted me so bad. I mean, I pulled everything out of that cupboard and I scoured it again. But that was the only thing I did. But I said I've now messaged Claudine that says she's out with her dad right now, and I said, can you tell him to bring home some milk, because I can't make the dessert without milk. So I guess they're going to do that. Bill, he's getting her to drive him up to London Drugs, because we were looking for a photo development place that took film. He found, when we were cleaning up, 2 rolls of film. We have no idea when they're from. We have no idea what's on them. They might be all useless pictures, but they might be beautiful pictures of our kids when they were young. So we're waiting to see what's on those. And we phoned, and London Drugs said yes, they do that type of developing. Walmart said they don't do that anymore. Sort of like asking somebody to fix an 8-track player. You know, you're not going to find it. But anyway, we had a fan replaced in our bedroom yesterday because it wasn't working correctly, and so the electrician fellow came and he put it up, which was very nice of him, except for that the fan is above the beds, and if you're unsteady like we are, you can't stand on your bed and reach up. If you do, you're going to fall. And the strings don't have extension poles on them. And he says, well, I know you can buy them. And I said, well, I know I can buy them too. I crocheted one for the living room, you know, but we can't get up there to tie it on. And so now we have to wait and get Cal to come again to tie something on. You know, it's like, it doesn't matter how much you want to be independent. People go out of their way to make so you can't be. So anyway, that's what's going on there. What else do we have going on? Not very much. We're coming up into Stampede Week pretty soon, which in the past, Bill loves to socialize, so he loved to go to all the free breakfasts. You do not need to be hungry in Calgary in Stampede Week. There is free breakfast everywhere. The only price of admission is that you stand in line. And Bill loves standing in line because he talks to everybody else who's doing it. But it was never my thing to do. Well, now he doesn't have a car, so he can't go very far to stand in line. So it's a little bit harder for him to accept that he has to, because there's no way that the kids want to be anywhere near standing in line. They're not going to take him to that. So, and he wanted to go down the bus going downtown from the seniors' place to go in on Seniors' Day to the Stampede. And Claudine and I both said to him, you are not going down there. I said, it'll be too hot. You won't have your scooter with you. And I said, you will cook, and everything down there costs a fortune. $4 or $5 for a little bottle of water, and you're not allowed to take your water in with you. You know, that's craziness as far as I'm concerned, you know. But anyway, I have a little rant about that, I guess. It just bothers me that that's the way it is. So, I don't know, I'm not having a great brain moment. I can't think of anything. Oh, you know what I was thinking too? I have to adapt so many things. Like with Parkinson's, I just find a way to do it. And we were talking the other day about, we were putting an extra bed rail on my bed. I know, I'll just tell you that. Putting an extra bed rail on my bed. Not to help me get out of the bed, to hold my mattress on the bed. Come with me, I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay. You just have to learn things that will work, even if it sounds stupid. All right, so this is the bed. There is a bed rail on one side, so if these two beds were split apart, you could get off on either side because there's a bed rail up there. The head of the bed is up there. We have our beds pushed together, so we just got that because it holds my bed mattress on. My bottom bed here is not on a rail. Let's see if you can see it. Cal built me a platform because I have to be a certain height. So there's a wooden platform underneath here. I don't think you can see that. No, you can't. Anyway, there's a wooden platform down underneath. Well, at nighttime, this part of my mattress falls and moves and moves and moves, and it's way out here. And when I go to sit up on the bed, I slide out of the bed. I said, I've got to keep my mattress up somehow. We came up, put a bed rail at the bottom, and to get in, I go in between the two, and then I lay down. And so when I say you have to adapt, that's what I mean. You have to find a way to make things work, because it's not always made for you. Like, you can't just say this is what the problem is. You know, the problem might need some adaptation for you, you know. Hence some melamine dishes. I dropped everything, so therefore I needed melamine dishes. And I've got the circles off my floor. For those who were with me before, they know I looked like I had a big puzzle going on my floor because I had black circles and they were round. I put them in pathways. It tricks my brain to follow those black dots and makes me walk towards where I'm going. When those dots aren't down, I hesitate sometimes. I start walking and then my feet kind of stick to the ground and I can't go on past. The black dots helped, but when we thought we were going to be moving, we put the black dots up and we haven't put them back down again. So I said, well, we'll try it without and see how it goes. So that's what we're doing. And had a little story about Gary. My brother Gary, he is such a sweetie. Anyway, he when he was younger, he decided, like most kids do, if something goes not his way, he says, I'm going to run away. Well, we had a babysitter at the time, and he said to the babysitter, you're not my mom. I don't have to do what you say. I'm going to run away. She said, okay, bye. And he says, no, I'm going to run away. And she says, okay, all right, I'll tell your mom. Well, he didn't know what to do then. So he went into his room and packed up his belongings. And when he left, he didn't have a suitcase. This was long before the days of backpacks. He had a stick with a hobo bag on the back of it, like a little napkin wrapped up around the pole, like a little hobo bag. And in Edmonton, where we were living at the time, we lived on 169th Street. And 170th was literally a laneway. It's now a huge highway. It goes to West Edmonton Mall. But I mean, it was a laneway, and there was nothing but peat fields past that. We were right at the very edge at the time. Of course, we were talking 50 years ago. But anyway, here's Gary going out and down 170th with his little hobo bag. Well, the babysitter, she realized he had actually wandered out of the yard a couple minutes later, so she got in her car and away she went, and she got him and brought him back home. But I said to him, how did you ever know to even tie it like a hobo bag? Like, that's silliness. But anyway, he did that, and that was funny. He also told me that the care home that my father's staying at, that he doesn't usually talk to the other people because most of them have dementia, and it confuses them because they don't know who he is and whatnot. So he doesn't usually talk to them. But this one day, he's seen this lady a few times, and she's elderly and whatnot, and he says to her, how are you today? And she stopped, and she goes, I'm good. You? And he said that he was good. And he says, can I ask you a question? And she said, sure. He said, my sister was telling me about something that was made back in the Depression days called a water pie. Have you ever heard of that? Well, he said her face lit up, and she goes, heard of it? I've made it. And she was so happy to have that memory. So I'm so happy. He says, well, my sister made one. She goes, oh, I don't think anybody knows how to do that anymore. I just thought that was so precious that we, for doing nothing but making somebody else's recipe, made her so happy. So anyway, she went to her room, happy as a lark, and probably remembering what water pie tasted like. Anyway, that's my story for today. And I think I'm going to leave it at that. We'll see you all tomorrow. Okay, and now for the rest of the story. And now you know. I thought I had bugs. I thought I had giant bugs in my milk powder. So I was terrified. I took my container that had the milk powder, and I put it in a dark garbage bag, and I left it there all nicely folded up and everything without opening the container, because there's no way they were getting loose in my house. And I kept them, and when Claudine came over, I said to her, I said, it's got to go down to the garbage, but I said, don't open it, but I said, look at the size of those bugs, right? And I was horrified. Meantime, I have gone through everything in my house, flour, sugar, you name it. I've gone through everything in my house looking to see if I can find these darn bugs anywhere else. No, nowhere. She comes in and she starts shaking the container. And I said, oh my gosh, don't shake the container. I said, what if the lid comes off? Oh, I was just having a heart attack. She goes, Mom, it's a measuring spoon that's in there to measure the milk powder. The milk powder was in an opaque container, white milk powder, and a gray scoop, like a quarter a cup scoop in there. And it was not visible like the whole thing at one time. It was dug into the milk powder, so I could see bits and pieces of it here and there. I couldn't believe it. I went and did all that work and everything, thinking that I had these bugs, giant bugs, and it was a measuring scoop. You wonder how things happen to me? That's how they happen to me. Now you know all of it. See you tomorrow.